What's up, everybody?
What's up, guys?
Welcome to another episode of Squad Junkies. What are we doing today, Jake?
We're gonna show you guys how to take some wheels off this Grom.
Ariel, step one. What the heck?
Still not fixed.
What is it?
It's a custom exhaust.
Look at that. I'd like to show you guys a couple of things to watch out for before you actually get started removing your wheels. So one thing you want to look at, you want to take a look at the axles. This is your axle bolt. That is your axle nut. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you guys the fastest way to not only get one tire off the ground at once, but both tires off the ground at once. So that way, when you remove the front and the rear, there's no picking up either side. So the fastest way is the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take your kickstand up. Then you're going to take your bike, you're going to walk around to the exhaust side. Next thing you want to do, very gracefully, and there you have it. Both wheels off the ground, great clearance all the way across. So now we're going to move on to changing just the rear tire alone.
Guys, this is how you don't. This is how you don't. Those straps what we're after.
It's no bueno, boss. Just one moment, guys. We gotta turn this baby around. Got your ratchet strap or pull strap, string, rope, whatever. Use something secure. Don't try this at home.
Or do, but if you do, record it, and we might throw you in a video.
Go ahead and clip onto your subcase there, and you pull it tight, lift it up, and clearance.
Clearance. Who's clearance?
We'll talk about clearance later.
Okay.
He's behind the scenes kind of guy, really. But so as you can tell, got it strapped up.
Do the wiggle test again. See? No wiggle.
No wiggle.
None.
As a disclaimer, this is much like option 1. You must have a good sturdy subcage. Option number 3, most conventional option, most of you guys would use anyway. What you want to do is you want to head out to your garage. Most people have one. If you don't have one, your local parts store just might have them. You want to pick yourself up a couple of jack stands. You want to set your jack stands down here. You want to be at the back of the bike. Kind of position this area lines up with your swing arm. Having done that, this next portion takes a little bit of skill. Go ahead and leave your kickstand down, just in case. Straighten the bike up, hold it by the back of the bike, and lift the bike, back it over the stands, and set it down. And now, back tire is off the ground and accessible. So that's option number 3. We're going to go ahead and show you guys how to remove the rear tire and install the rear tire. Let's get to it.
First step, always put on some gloves. It just makes cleanup a lot easier.
Bee mittens. That's censored. Alright, doctor, you ready?
Yep. Next step, get you a nice seat. It's never fun to just kneel. And for this particular job, we are going to need a Phillips because we have homemade sliders that require a Phillips to remove the pucks. Then after you get your sliders off, if you have them, if not, then you just skip that step entirely. And you're going to need a 19mm and a 14mm to take the axle off. Power tools make any job 10 times easier. Alright, so once you've taken the nut off, you pull your slider off. And after that, you can take your handy dandy slider and use it as a pull tab, or just get a rubber mallet if it's seized to push out the axle. Axle is out. Good on us because this axle is lubed. After the axle's out, we're going to go ahead and slide the whole wheel forward to pull the chain off, and then the whole wheel backwards, pull the wheel off. This is a very crucial part. This is your spacer. It just goes right there. And after this is when you replace the tire, or the sprocket, or the brake rotor, or just the wheels entirely. And so much air Rick runs in his back tire. But that is how you take the back wheel off. Also, those can go out, And so this is good for replacing your cush drives, bushings, bearings, bushings. Installing the tire and the wheel is a little more in depth. First you got to make sure that the brake rotor is lined up to the caliper, which it is. And then you have to make sure that the caliper is lined up with the slot in it, all while getting the bushings in the correct spot. Don't forget about your chain, you know? Chain's a crucial part. You gotta make sure it's getting some love. If you have a buddy, it usually helps.
I'm Buddy.
He is Buddy. You're gonna slide everything forward. Make sure the sprocket gets on. And then we can figure everything else out from there.
It's never been this difficult until we try to record something and then it's all of a sudden
Difficult.
very difficult.
I think you put the jack stand a little too close. Once everything's in and lined up, you take your handy dandy axle, make sure your chain adjusters are lined up as well. Send that puppy home. Maybe. Send that puppy home.
Here it goes.
Send the puppy home. It's not usually that difficult. And I got my Crocs dirty! These are brand new. I literally got these like 2 hours ago.
What did you even put your foot on?
Your damn bushing fell out of my Croc. It's Croc shit. After you get all that done,
Do not try what he is doing at home with a power tool.
make sure it's not cross-threaded. Send that puppy home. That's the chain sliding on the jack stand.
Then what you want to do from there is go ahead and put your sliders back together if you have sliders. Those are going to go back together the way they came apart in the reverse method. And there you have it for removal and installation of the rear wheel. Woo! It's not the easiest method. We actually use a rear stand that we custom built here for actual rear tire removal. It allows for extra room with the chain and the sprocket, but as you've seen, this method is very usable and hopefully very helpful for all of you. So we're going to finish up on the back side. We'll go ahead and check the chain slack and everything while we have it up, and then we're going to move on to showing you guys how to do the front tire, which is easier.
Another option to take off the front wheel or to get it off the ground is it's good old-fashioned wheelie. But again, don't do this if you don't have a rear subcage. Boom, first try. First try. Makes it easy to take the exhaust bolts off, work on the head, and other miscellaneous stuff. Don't recommend draining the oil this way because it won't really work. Another way to take the front tire off, or position it to take the front tire off, I should say. Alright guys, he's going to show you how to do the front because I don't want to get my shoes dirty. And also, if you do get dirty while you're in the shop, you might as well get dirty in a Squad Junkies t-shirt. Available, where are they available?
Release dates, TBA, to be announced still, coming in 2020.
It is 2020.
So we're going to show you guys how to lift the front of the Honda Grom to remove the front wheel,
Front wheel.
not the rear.
Not the rear.
This one here is a little bit more difficult because we don't really have a full frame on the Grom. Now, if you do have a front cage and jack stands that are tall enough, you can actually put the jack stands underneath the cage and lift the front that way. Or if you have an aftermarket set of pegs that do not fold, that's a great way to do it as well. We're going to show you guys the more conventional method if you don't have all those items.
And you do have rafters.
And you do have rafters. So, again, you want to take your strap, go over the rafters. Here we go, going over the rafters.
And people say I'm sketchy.
Now you want to take and secure your hooks onto your bars. You want to make sure you do not have this anywhere where a grip could slide off, so flip it around something safe. Okay, so now that you have it secure on both sides, you can straighten out the bars and you can lift the front with slight pressure of pulling the Grom up. It's not going to take much to get the front wheel off the ground. As you see here, front wheel is off the ground. Now we're going to show you guys how to remove and install the front wheel of a Honda Grom. I'm going to take over as a mechanic.
I don't know, am I going to get dirty again?
Okay, so now that we're on to the front, if you've watched the portion of the rear before, you still need your 14mm and your 19mm. So here we go. That we're off the ground and we got our tools ready. I'm going to go ahead and take your tools, or power tools, gently with your power tools, and remove the nut from the axle. Once you have that removed, you can take a rubber mallet or a rubbered end of your tool, give it some taps, and pull out from the other side.
His pull out being strong.
Once you have that out, you can drop your tire down a little bit, and you can pull the tire away from the bike. Now, as you did not see here, if it lifted the bike just a little bit higher, made that process a little more simpler. That is removal of the front tire. This is a good time to check everything out, make sure there's no damage on your rotor, make sure spacers are in there. Now we're going to also, one more thing, when you take your tires off, be sure to check your brake pads and see how good they are. Brakes are very important. Yeah, they're fine. They got some life left in them. They have at least 5 more stoppies. Now we're going to work on reinstalling your front tire. Make sure the rotor is on the side with the brake. And you want to take your tire, make sure you have your axle bolt ready, and you want to lift it up in between the forks and make sure that your brake rotor lines up between your brake pads. Once you have everything lined up, send that baby home. Got that lined up, you go ahead and put your nut back on. Grab your tools. 2 to 3 ugga-duggas seems to do the job. Or 30. But now, our Grom wheel is back on. We can take it off of the stand, ropes, tree, rafters, whatever. And you guys are ready to ride. That's going to do it for today's video. We hope you guys learned something today.
Yeah, a few things. If you guys didn't learn something, I hope you guys enjoyed the video at least, or hated the video. But like always, guys, remember to like, comment what you thought about the video, or my new birthday Crocs, and subscribe. At least subscribe to watch other crappy videos like this one. And until next time, peace.
Doing what I do on the regular.